Okay, we're starting now. If you tell us about Christmases and your memories of Christmas.
Remember the Christmases? Well, I remember the Christmas we were 7 children. We were really excited. Our mother told us many stories about the Bible and about Christmas and what it stood for. And we would usually sit in a circle or down at her feet anyway. She didn't have to tell us. We just did it. We were all excited, and we never really got much of anything, but we got one little thing. We were more happy about buying something for the others, such as my older sister, needed a fingernail file. And we were so excited because we'd managed to get pennies and a little bit of money to go over to the store and get those, and we were excited.
How old were you then?
I would say the oldest boy then was probably 8 years old. He could take us by the hand, and he would hold us so tight and direct us by twisting our hand whether to go or stop. I remember that very well. But we were really excited about that Christmas present we got for our older sister, and she was excited when she did get them. I don't remember other. Oh, we always had stockings hung on the wall, no, on the mantle, and in the fireplace, and they would be 7 stockings.
Do you remember what year it was?
Huh?
Do you remember what year that was?
No, I don't. But we did have oranges and some kind of fruit. Because we didn't have fruit in the wintertime in those days. But we were excited about that fruit in the stocking hanging on the mantle. And climbing up and getting the fruit out. We didn't have radio. Well, we had radio, but Santa Claus on the radio wasn't too good. So we told each other stories. We made up stories about him going up in a chimney, because we were pretty sure he did go in the chimney or come down in the chimney. And
Were you about 4 or 5?
maybe more like 3 and 4, and then it went on into 4 and 5.
So this was in the 1920s.
Hmm?
This had to have been during the Depression, during the No, it wasn't. It was before the Depression. It was in the 1920s if you were younger than 4 or 5.
Okay. I don't remember that exactly. But I usually was sort of left out because I was younger than the older ones. But they told me he'd come down the chimney, and we went and looked. We couldn't see him, but we knew he did.
Did you look up the chimney?
Yeah, we looked up the chimney. And the older brother, Jack, usually led things pretty much, and he was pretty stern. I don't remember much more other than we did have. I remember when we got a radio. We were excited. Everybody in the family was excited when we got a radio, and we could listen to it. Before that, we went over to a neighbor's house at 5 o'clock when Santa Claus came on, and they let us listen to him at 5 o'clock. And then we went back home, but we finally got a radio, and then we listened to it. Usually didn't get much more than an orange or some little toy.
Did your parents make toys for you?
What?
Did your parents make toys for you?
I can hear it.
Did your parents make toys for you? Did they make like doll clothes and that kind of thing?
I I don't remember the toys. There were cutout dolls in a book magazine. When I was a little older, I had a dollhouse, very small one, but I could go in and sit in it, and I wanted a sewing machine.
Hmm.
And it was a little one you had to wind with your hand, and I got in there and started making doll clothes, and they couldn't get me out of there to go eat dinner.
Hmm.
And I stayed in there working, in my little sewing machine in that little wooden or paper house, cardboard house, I guess it was, and they kept calling me. But I finally did go and eat. For dinner, we probably had chicken, and it would go around once, and we each got a piece, but my brother Bill would take one piece, and then he knew that nobody else wanted the wing. And so he got to get two pieces because the wing would still be left in there, and then he got two pieces, and we didn't like that very well. So then as we grew up, we got sleds, and my mother always sent us outdoors to play because she probably was tired of us being in the house, and we did go out and play in the snow a lot. Just throwing snowballs and making snow houses. We did build big ones, little balls, and make them and play in them after we got in them. And the neighborhood kids come down and play too. We had a group of boys that come down to play. There were no girls in the neighborhood. And then as we got older, we went to kindergarten, and my mother made us walk, and we knew where the school was, so she just put us out the door, and away we went.
Did you live in German Village then?
Huh?
Were you living in German Village at that time?
Well, it wasn't German Village then, because it wasn't called for German Village till I grew up. But it was in German Village. We'd go down to the lake and ice skate and sled down the hill. We walked down, and our feet were frozen by the time we got there. Frozen when we got home, but nobody paid any attention to it. And then I remember before we went to school, we sat on the steps in the spring and early summer and waited on my older brother Bill to come home from school. My mother would send us out to sit on the steps and wait on him because she was tired of us in the house, and we'd sit there and wait and wait and wait. And then
How many older children were there?
hmm?
What number were you in the family? How many older brothers did you have?
I had four brothers, but just one brother sat out there with me, Bob. And we giggled and played a game called, it was a knife and three branches. Can't think of the name right now. We made, and marbles. And we dug in the ground and had to make that marble Jack in a something, can't remember the other. And you had to do something with the knife and the dirt and the marble. I just can't quite remember what we did with that now, but we were occupied in the summertime with that marble and dirt and knife. And we also, in the summer, we played can't think of the name, we tap you on the back. That was it. And we put our head up on the telephone pole and close your eyes, and somebody draw a circle on the back, and then somebody else would tap tap you on the back with the finger